Sloe gin is lovely, but if you fancy the flavour of sloe berries without getting drunk, I recommend a Sloe cordial, a non-alcoholic cordial that can be used in many ways. In my opinion, this cordial is the best and most flavourful of all our wild cordials. The first job is to harvest 1 kilogram of sloe berries. I wash them and then put them in the freezer for a day or two, or until you want to use them, and then defrost them when you want to use them. This process mimics a frost and helps bring the juices out and can even develop sugars and reduce the tartness of them very slightly. I put the defrosted sloe berries into a pan and add 1 litre of water and the juice of 1 lemon. When I do a similar cordial using a bigger fruit like bullace or damsons, I use far less water because those fruits provide far more juice than sloe berries, and the process for bullace or damsons is more like an extraction of flavour and juice. But for sloe berries it's more like an infusion. You're coaxing flavour from tough skins and dry minimal flesh, so more water is needed. Anyway, once everything's in my pan, I give it all a stir up, bring it to the boil, and then reduce to a very low heat and simmer for about 5 minutes. This softens the fruits up, and once softened, I break up the fruits with a potato masher. The stones of the berries will be removed later, so don't worry about those for now. Now the fruit is mashed up, I simmer for another 10 minutes. I then pour the mixture through a sieve with a pan underneath. You can line the sieve with a muslin cloth if you want a really clear, professional looking cordial, but this will take a lot longer and makes more of a difference to the look rather than taste, so I don't bother. I do also periodically stir the contents of the sieve too, as well as scrape the bottom of the sieve with a spoon to remove blockages, and even coax the juice and pulp through by pushing the mixture down on the sieve with my spoon. Once I have all the juice extracted, I measure it, and for every 100 millilitres of juice, I add 80 grams of sugar. Once I've measured the juice, I then put the juice in a pan. It can be the same pan that you sieve the juice into, and add the sugar. I then heat it up while stirring until all the sugar is dissolved, and once the sugar's dissolved and the liquid is almost boiling, I simmer for another 10 minutes. Once done, I let it cool a little before bottling up into sterilised bottles. By the way, I sterilise these bottles by washing and rinsing them normally first, and then putting them in an oven, face down if possible, but otherwise on their side is fine, and then heating the oven to 160 degrees Celsius before taking the bottles out with oven gloves. Sloe cordial has a relatively short shelf life, potentially only a few weeks if it's unsealed, but if you do follow the process that I outlined in this video, it should last for several months or even longer, especially when the cordial is put into sterilised bottles when still hot and sealed properly. Once opened, the cordial is best stored in the fridge and consumed within a month ideally, but again it should still last for longer in reality, and remember you can freeze some for longer term storage. The cordial is great mixed with water to turn water into something magical. You can also use it in mocktails or even as a fruity syrup to add to desserts or pancakes.